From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
My name's Tanner Petraucci with The Fireplace, where we know home is where the hearth is. We pride ourselves on providing great quality customer service, fireplace extraordinaire and low-pie products, as well as some of the best training in town.
Everybody get up.
Happy Friday evening to you. Real quickly here, we're going to go into the ticket giveaway here for the Red Bluff Roundup. I got 2 tickets for Friday night's event. That's next Friday. I'll be giving those away live on Coffee with Krueger next Wednesday, April 15th. To enter to win, all you got to do, if you want to enter it in the contest, email me at mkrueger@weathernorcal.com or go to the website, weathernorcal.com, click on contact and fill out the form that is, and you will be entered. So that should be exciting. We got the Red Bluff Roundup coming up here, and still the big sale going on with Axner Excavating. It's been going on for a while. It will end on Sunday. They also have the big home show, which is tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. They have Meet the Pros. They've got a lot of local experts that will be able to address any questions that you may have with your project, and then they can point you in the right direction on what to get, because when you know it, you'll be at Axner Excavating where there's a big sale going on, so you can take advantage of that as well. So be sure to check that out tomorrow. All right, it was an active day again for many of us. We started the morning off with some pretty heavy rainfall in some spots for the valley, a bit of a lull in that activity. But as we go into the evening hours here, we're seeing some more activity coming in from the south, and Glenn County really getting hit hard this evening around the Willows area with a lot of lightning strikes, heavy rainfall, most likely seeing some hail associated with that. That activity will start to move northward throughout the evening, so Tehama County, Shasta County, places like Redding, Red Bluff, even Corning, Chico, Oroville, all places seeing the potential for that rain and maybe even some lightning strikes as well. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's take a look at our Krueger's Quick Cast for your Friday, April 10th. Here's what we have in store for us tonight. Again, more rain. As we get closer to midnight, after midnight, we're going to start to see things begin to kind of wrap themselves up. At least we'll see a lull in the activity at that point. But for tomorrow morning, this actually looks worse than it is, but there are going to be some scattered showers out there across the board. Some areas drier than others. I'd say the valley, probably not as wet as it'll be later on in the day. All right, so the main area of low pressure that's been impacting us since Wednesday, that's now down to our south, and it's moving on out by tonight and tomorrow. What's going to replace it is another area of low pressure now over the Gulf of Alaska that'll be impacting us over the weekend. All right, so we still have a thunderstorm chances, and this is something I've been talking about really over the last several days. I think there's a chance for thunderstorms all weekend long as well. And here's what's interesting. The Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma has extended tomorrow for all of Northern California. And it looks like that'll be the case on Sunday as well. So let's take a look at Futurecast. And this is this evening. There you can see the heavier rainfall. Now, again, as I mentioned, as we get into the midnight hour, we see a little bit of a lull in the activity, especially for the valley, but still some stray showers, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm for some of the higher elevations. This is tomorrow morning. All right, so tomorrow morning, it looks like there may be a little bit of that lull in the activity, but by midday, we're seeing the showers begin to kind of kick back in, maybe some thunderstorms, could see heavier rainfall. Now, you'll see that band of rain from Crescent City through Hoopa, Hayfork, and just kind of entering the south end of the valley. That's the cold front. That's going to pick up the winds, that's going to pick up the rain and thunderstorms, and it's also going to lower those snow levels. You can start to see some of that snow making its way down to about 4,000 feet, give or take. The winds, as I mentioned, as that cold front approaches tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, those winds are going to start to pick up. We're talking 30, maybe even close to 40 miles per hour, and again, gusty winds with these isolated thunderstorms as well. So for your Saturday, yeah, everyone at least has a chance for thunderstorms. Otherwise, we've got more rain in the forecast pretty much across the board. We take a look at that 7-day forecast for the valley. You know, the thing is, I've actually introduced a chance for some sprinkles and light showers on Monday. And I'm now introducing a chance for showers by Wednesday of next week as well. So next week does not look completely 100% dry. And there is some question about the weekend of the Red Bluff Roundup, especially on Sunday. We'll get into that a little bit later. But there you can see the wet weather here throughout the weekend, maybe a chance for showers Monday, and then, yeah, again, across the board, maybe a chance for showers by next Wednesday. But by the way, Wednesday doesn't look to be all that impressive when we're talking rainfall. All right, so let's take a look at our weather headlines. We've got those off and on showers, thunderstorms through the weekend. Some of those storms may become severe. We're talking hail, gusty winds, lightning, right? Colder storm moves in this weekend. That's going to lower the snow levels, and there could be some travel delays. And I think where most of that would be is going to be east of I-5 in the eastern mountains. More on that, again, a little bit later. So we still have a bit to talk about for your weekend forecast and even going through next week. That's all in the Deeper Dive forecast. But first, a word from Axner Excavating.
It's that time again for Axner Excavating Spring Sale. March 30th through April 12th. 11 acres of landscaping supplies and materials on sale. All rock, hardscape, sand, soil, best fertilizer, and bark products on sale. Just north of Highway 44.
All right, so let's take a look at that radar image here, and you can clearly see here. Now, this is as of about 4:40 this evening. So as you're watching this, if you're watching, it's going to be a recording. So just kind of take that into account. So I'm just kind of giving you an idea based on what's happening as I'm recording this and what we anticipate to happen as we move forward in time. So you can clearly see some of the showers we did see. A lot of the activity this afternoon was in the higher elevations, but we're seeing another kind of batch, another disturbance kind of push on through, and it will be impacting the valley here this evening into tonight. Here you can see the line right here. Some very strong thunderstorms out towards the Willows area in Glenn County. We're also seeing that line of thunderstorms, as you can see right here, working its way on the west side of the valley. But all of this is going to be working its way northward. And should it hold on to its strength and maybe even gain strength, we're talking about heavy rainfall. Looks to be like in the Corning area, Red Bluff, and eventually Redding, possibly getting into that as well. So we'll be watching that. Now keep in mind, there's more coming in behind that, so that means more showers, more potential for thunderstorms through the evening and into tonight as well. So again, you can clearly see that area of low pressure finally kicking itself off to the east. We've got our eyes on this one right here. That's what's going to help to drop our temperatures down. This cold front will be the source of cooler air coming in behind it. It will be the source for some strong winds that we'll see for Saturday afternoon. And as we kind of see this all move in, we'll be looking at those showers and possible thunderstorms throughout the weekend. Let's take a look at the long range. This is the GFS American forecast model. Just kind of give you a general idea. There's that system. Now, again, the cold front is right here, so it's not until Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening that it moves on through. Sunday, more showers. Monday, actually, I think there are going to be some leftover lingering sprinkles and light showers, but we are on the drying trend. Tuesday, dry, but this system coming in on Wednesday, giving us another shot for some showers, especially up to the north. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week look to be dry at this point based on the GFS long-range forecast model. Now, what's interesting is this. We haven't seen much agreement in the long-range forecast models, that is between the GFS and the European forecast model. This model has been kind of going back and forth as to whether or not we see rain on Sunday or not. Now it's saying no, it's going to probably hold off until maybe that next Monday after that, right? So for now, based on this model, it looks dry for the Red Bluff Roundup Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right, but now I want to show you the European forecast model. Again, we'll take you just through the weekend here real quickly. There you can see, then we go into Wednesday of next week. There's that clipper system, so they both agree, wet this weekend, dry for Tuesday, and then maybe some more wet weather coming in on Wednesday. Here is where they start to disagree. Dry through Friday and Saturday, but now the European forecast model, look at Sunday. This is the Red Bluff Roundup, the last day of the Red Bluff Roundup. Look at that rain. Now I'm going to tell you, this particular forecast model has been dry up until this particular forecast model run. So for the first time, it's saying, all right, maybe we will see some rain associated with this area of low pressure. So still a lot of uncertainty as to whether or not we'll see rain during the event of the Red Bluff Roundup, which again is next Friday, Saturday, and into that Sunday. At this point, I would say if we're going to see any precipitation during the event, it would be on Sunday. But again, we have to kind of get a few more model runs in there. We have to kind of go over the next few days and start really hoping to hone in on that forecast a bit. Here's another thing that's interesting too, and I mentioned this a little bit during Krueger's Quickcast. So as I've been kind of going over the last few days, I've been saying that chance for thunderstorms all weekend long. What the Storm Prediction Center has been doing over the last few days is saying, maybe not so much on Saturday. In fact, it had all of this area with outside of the area. And I said, no, I still think. Now you can see on Saturday, it's got that potential in there. Then this morning, it was saying on Sunday, only chances for thunderstorms will be right around in this area right here. Look what it's saying for Sunday now. It's just taking a little blob out there off to the north and west. But for all intents and purposes, Sunday is another day. Now, once again, we have to remember, just because you're in that area of green doesn't mean you will see thunderstorms, but it does mean that the potential is there. But bottom line, everyone is going to be wet in some shape or form throughout the weekend. All right, let's walk you through that here with Futurecast. Here we are as we go through tonight and into tomorrow morning. We actually may see a little bit of a lull in the activity. So if you have plans in the valley tomorrow morning, that might be a good time to go out and do those outdoor plans, whatever it may be. However, don't be surprised if we're still seeing a few scattered showers even Saturday morning at this time. All right, but we are seeing, it looks like, the bulk of the activity off into the higher elevations. Now watch what happens as we go through the morning. It very quickly starts to fill in. So this is what I was talking about. The timing of this may be off a little bit here, but you get the idea. We're going to be back into those scattered showers, maybe even some thunderstorms by the time we get into midday. This right here, this is the cold front. It's approaching. So by 6 p.m., cold front is right here. This is where that cold front is. This is where we're going to see the rain begin to pick up in intensity. Winds are going to be picking up in intensity. We're talking gusts 30, 40 miles per hour, especially behind that cold front. So we get behind the cold front. All right, so here's the cold front right here. Now look what's happening. We're seeing a lot more snow on the map here, aren't we? But we're getting a bit of a lull in the activity, but there's another band of rain. You see this? This is the area of low pressure. So you've got a bit of instability just to the east of that. That is going to be moving on through as we go into Saturday night, Sunday morning. And what's happening too is we see this really ride up the mountains, and that's really forcing that air upward pretty quickly. And that's why we're really just squeezing out a lot of that moisture. And since this is colder air we're dealing with, it's going to be in the form of snow. Okay, so 6 a.m. on Sunday. There's that spin in the atmosphere. Now it's moved off to the east here. So we go to 6 p.m. on Sunday. We're seeing a little bit of a drier slot of air off to the north and west and down to the south, but still some scattered showers and snow flurries off into the mountains. Look at there, there's Monday morning. So look at Monday. Here's Monday morning at 8 a.m. Just take a look at the map here through the day on Monday. You see how we're looking at mostly cloudy skies, maybe a passing sprinkle, maybe a passing shower, but overall it will be significantly drier on Monday. And then we extend this on into Tuesday. There's Tuesday morning, Tuesday around midday. It's dry. But remember, I was saying there's a little clipper system that may clip Northern California and really all of California, Northern California, the North State, right, through the day on Wednesday. Rainfall estimates through to Monday, that is, noon. All right, maybe about an inch to an inch and a half, maybe a little bit more in some spots for the valley. Not as much off to the east, maybe a little over an inch in some spots for the coast. Now that we're kind of getting that spread not quite as long, we're not going to see as much rainfall, but we certainly are definitely going to see some very heavy downpours in some spots here over the next couple of days. The National Weather Service is beginning to extend the overall aerial coverage of these winter alerts. Purple is where we have a winter weather advisory now for western Siskiyou County and northern Trinity County. I'm not anticipating any problems on Highway 299 West as far as snow is concerned. Buckhorn Summit, I think maybe borderline, maybe a bit of a mix, but I would not at this point anticipate there to be chain requirements on Highway 299 West or even 36 West. Where I am anticipating chain requirements is mainly going to be east of I-5. Those higher mountain passes, mainly above 4,000 feet, I think we could see some snow. And the potential for chain requirements as we go into Saturday night and Sunday morning. That's what I'm talking about when we're talking chain requirements. It's mainly Saturday night and Sunday morning. I do think that places like Cedar Pass, many of the 4,000 feet or higher, and there are plenty of those mountain passes east of I-5. And if you're traveling in that area, Saturday night, Sunday morning, do note you may run into some problems. By the way, I mentioned Trinity County on Highway 3, Scott Mountain Pass, you may see some chain requirements up there as well. So just kind of give you an idea what's going on with that snow. Let's take a look at the forecast snow estimates. These are my numbers I put in here. All right, I want you to take note because the model wants to give you upwards of 8 inches of snow in Chester and even Paradise. I'm going more on the conservative side here because one of the factors at play is the fact that we've got to really cool that ground down first, in order for us to really start seeing that snow accumulate. But if it's coming down really heavy, there's a chance we may get on the higher end of that. 1 to 3 inches of snow is a possibility through Sunday night. We'll have to watch that. We'll have to monitor because it may be a bit more than that, even out towards Portola. A trace out towards places like El Turris. Fall River Mills, maybe one, that might be kind of pushing it. Actually, I don't know why that's on there. It shouldn't say that. It actually should just be 0 like Bernie, because Fall River Mills I think is going to be a little bit too low in elevation. That's a typo, folks. Forgive me on that one. But Shingletown, 3,500 feet. Yeah, all right. Viola, maybe looking at more a possibility for some accumulating snow there, but not Weaverville or Hayfork. And these pinks here, that's 2, maybe even upwards of 3 feet of snow. Yeah, you have to go above 5,000, 6,000 feet before you really start seeing that significant snow. And getting into that 2 to 3 feet, that's at the highest of elevations, right? All right, so we can see the winds as we go into tomorrow. Yeah, they're picking up with that cold front, so 30 to 40 miles per hour, especially in the valley. But looks like as we go into Sunday and Monday and even Tuesday of next week, I'm not really anticipating there to be any major wind events at that point. So really, it's mainly Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening that we'll see some of those strongest winds. Much, much colder over the weekend. Upper 50s, low 60s for the valley, but we're ticking back up. We're in the low 70s by Wednesday, mid to upper 70s by the end of next week. Wave heights, we are seeing them increase a little bit here. Now, as that cold front does approach and move through, those wave heights may get a little bit higher. So that's something you need to take into account if you need to be on a small boat. Here is your neighborhood forecast sponsored by Dignity Health and Grange Co-op. Looking at Trinity County, about 50, give or take. Showers, thunderstorms Saturday, Sunday. Snow levels down to 4,000 feet Sunday. We may see a stray shower Monday and maybe some more stray showers by Wednesday of next week. For the North Coast, we got temperatures in the low to even mid-50s, 56 degrees for Garberville, 56 degrees in Alder Point. Up north, 57 in New Orleans, 55 degrees in Hoopa, and 55 degrees in Gas Key. Out towards Siskiyou County, temperatures around the 50-degree mark, give or take, 53 for Etna, showers and thunderstorms. Sunday, we could see some thunderstorms as well, but snow levels down to about 4,000 feet. And then there you can see maybe a stray shower Monday and maybe another stray shower on Wednesday of next week. Modoc County, looking at your 7-day forecast, you could see a bit of a mix or even some snow on Sunday as that colder air moves in. Maybe a stray shower on Monday, maybe even a stray snow shower as well. Otherwise, we're dry Tuesday, maybe some showers Wednesday, dry by Thursday and Friday. Off to the eastern mountains we go. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s there, and chance for thunderstorms for the valley for both Saturday and Sunday. But by Monday, as you head to the south, the chances for showers may be a bit slimmer, like Chico, mostly cloudy skies. You may see a stray shower Monday. Tuesday, dry, maybe some stray showers Wednesday, and then again dry and warmer for Thursday and Friday. Around 60 degrees, give or take, for Redding, down to Red Bluff, 61 degrees in Palo Cedro. The city of Shasta Lake, about 59 degrees. There's your 7-day forecast for Redding. We're down to 57 degrees by Sunday, but then temperatures start to creep back up, low to mid-70s by Wednesday and Thursday. All right, that's going to do it for me this week, my friends, but I will, of course, be on call throughout the weekend, keeping you updated if need be. Otherwise, Chase Wilson will be filling in for me this weekend. He'll be working this weekend, and he'll keep you updated with the latest on these storms as they pass on through. He'll have your updates for you in the morning, noon, and in the evening. Until then, have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.
When you see flashing lights, someone's life depends on us.
And while we're out helping crash victims, we need your help to keep us safe. Move over, slow down, it's the law, it protects everyone.
Our crews are out here every day, keeping the roads safe for you and your family.
We're often the last ones on scene, and we want to make it home safe too.
Protect those who protect you, slow down and move over.